Sharingan is a dojutsu belongs to the Uchiha clan. When an Uchiha feels strong feelings, such as friendship or love, for a person, and that person is in danger situation, or has even been killed, the brain of the Uchiha releases a special chakra. This chakra influences the optic nerves and causes a change in the eyes of the Uchiha, the Sharingan. This is why Tobirama Senju calls it the eye that reflects the heart. Having a Sharingan will give its owner two kinds of power: Eye of Insight and Eye of Hypnotism. Eye of Insight improves the eyesight and provides the ability to mimic movements, while the Eye of Hypnotism can emit illusion and influence people's mind. Here are the stages of Sharingan and their powers. First is the single Tomoe Sharingan. This version is usually awakened as a child and is the very first stage. The only way the user can awaken the Sharingan is by emotional trauma. At this stage, the Sharingan user can read the enemy movement and increase the speed and accuracy of the attack. Second, the two Tomoe Sharingan. This version is awakened after maturing or continued usage of the Sharingan. The Sharingan at this stage has shown great abilities. The user can imitate opponent's movement, read opponent's movement in detail, speed up the speed, stamina, and accuracy of user attacks, like what Kakashi did. Third, the three Tomoe Sharingan. This is awakened after even more use of the Sharingan. This form is what most Uchiha members had. The Sharingan at this stage able to see and feel any type of chakra, imitate the opponent's movement, increase the speed and accuracy of the attacks, and make user more agile and able to use genjutsu. Fourth, the Mangekyo Sharingan. This form is only awakened with trauma associated with losing a very close person. This form is the most interesting because it gives the user their own unique abilities. The shape of the Sharingan is different each person. The only drawback using the Mangekyo is the loss of the user vision. The more an individual uses the Mangekyo, the more their vision is lost. Also, the user gains the Susanoo ability as a result of awakening both Mangekyo Sharingan. At this stage, the Sharingan is capable of showing real strength, because the Mangekyo Sharingan user have been able to use three legendary Uchiha Jutsu: Tsukuyomi, Amaterasu, and Susanoo. Here are the abilities of Mangekyo Sharingan of each user. Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan. With his left Mangekyo, he can use Tsukuyomi, an extremely powerful genjutsu that allows him to distort the victim's perception of time. And with his right Mangekyo, he can use Amaterasu, creating inextinguishable black flames. Because he has both of his Mangekyo abilities, he can use Susanoo. Sasuke's Mangekyo Sharingan. With his left Mangekyo, he can cast Amaterasu. With his right Mangekyo, he can shape the flames or extinguish them. He also tends to use genjutsu with his right Mangekyo, and he can use Susanoo. Obito and Kakashi Mangekyo Sharingan. Obito Mangekyo Sharingan is able to use close-range Kamui, allowing the user to teleport themselves or those they are in contact with to Kamui's dimension. Kakashi Mangekyo Sharingan is able to use long-range Kamui, allowing the user to create a barrier around target that teleport them to Kamui's dimension, though this requires precise aim. Madara's Mangekyo Sharingan. Madara's Mangekyo Sharingan power haven't been revealed. One of the revealed ability is the power to control the QB. The usage of the eyes led Madara to lose his vision. It's not known what the individual abilities of each of his eyes, but he became one of the strongest shinobi ever lived. Shisui Mangekyo Sharingan. With each of his eyes, he could use Koto Amatsukami, a powerful kenjutsu that allowed him to manipulate an opponent so completely without them having the slightest idea that they were being controlled. Baru's Mangekyo Sharingan. He, along with Rei Izanami, was able to use the Uchiha clan's Izanagi technique. Rai's Mangekyo Sharingan. He could use one of its most forbidden techniques, Izanagi. He was so adept in using the powerful technique, he was also able to affect an entire battlefield with it. Naka's Mangekyo Sharingan. His Sharingan granted him the ability to use the technique Izanagi, which he apparently used obsessively with such skill that he could survive combat against several other Uchiha. Naori's Mangekyo Sharingan. He was also able to use one of the clan's kinjutsu, Izanami, which trapped the target in an endlessly looped kenjutsu with no hope of escaping unless they accept themselves. The last form of Sharingan is the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. As it sounds, this form of Sharingan is just like the Mangekyo, except the user doesn't lose sight as they use their eyes. The only way this form of Sharingan is gained is by transplanting the Sharingan of someone else with close blood tie to the user. This form is incredibly rare, as it is only seen with Madara and Sasuke. The eye shape with the EMS is a cross between the user Mangekyo and the transplanted eyes. It is also worth noting that the user gains increased Susanoo power. Madara's Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. He could use multiple forms of Susanoo. He could also use his Susanoo to shape it around tailpiece to strengthen. Sasuke Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. It gives Sasuke an even higher capability of reading his opponent's movements and to fleetly act upon them. He could also use a new form of Susanoo,